Hi, garden friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Era, and this is Gardening on Purpose. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A, where I do gardening-related videos. It is Sunday, and it's time for a Sunday walkabout. So for today's video, I'm just going to show you a few things, but mostly what I'm going to be doing is thinning out the leaves in the garden beds. You might have seen a video of mine yesterday where I did a tour where I showed you my entire yard, the front, the back, the side, the shade, everything I showed you. And that was just a tour for December, so you can actually get an idea of what my garden looks like in December. But in that video, I also mentioned the fact that I had a lot of leaves and I wanted to thin these out. So I started doing that. Thinning the leaves out helps to prevent the diseases that might form. I don't want leaves just hanging around the plants and just forming all kinds of stuff. I do want leaves to be in the bed. So I'm going to thin it out, leave some leaves in the bed, and most of the leaves are going to be out of the bed, which are here. These are all the walkways. There are no leaves there. A lot of leaves in these beds. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a leaf rake, and that's all I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to take a leaf rake and I'm just going to use it to thin the leaves out around plants that I feel like they have too many leaves around them. So for example, here are some spring blooming only azaleas that at the bottom is just a bunch of leaves, right? And I'm just going to take the rake. You could use your hand if it's not a lot and just like pull it away from it so that the plant breathes a little bit, right? Pull it away so the plant breathes a little bit. Here's a lot of the wild mushroom that was hanging around here. I'm just going to use the rake and pull it away. Just pull it away. You can actually, use your hand and come down closer to the plant and, pull it away to help it. But it definitely does help to prevent any problems with diseases, right? Especially since we're going to be getting a lot of rain. The soil is very moist in the fall and the winter. We do get a lot of rain, right? Now, some plants, they definitely like a lot of leaves because they like the insulation, right? So anything that's probably on zone 8 or 7B, I might give them some extra leaves, but anything that is okay in zone 4, 5, or 6, I'm going to pull away the leaves because they are very, very hard. And even though we get a freeze, they'll be quite fine. Next up, I wanted to show you my hellebore, also known as Lenten Rose. You guys know I'm a fan of these. I came late to them because one of the reasons really is because they're so expensive. And, you only seem to get this certain type of variety in the box stores, right? But I'm not going to go online and buy a bunch of stuff for $50 and $80. But they are actually budded up, guys. Now they bloom in the winter, so these are probably not going to bloom until January, February, but already you can see that they're in the works right there. So I was excited to show you that one. Here's one right there. And this one here, look at that, guys. The hellebores are starting to do their thing. Now they're an evergreen for me. And even though it's an evergreen, the older leaves, like last year's leaves, once these new leaves come out, I'll cut these off and give these a chance to really shine. But I was so excited today when I was clearing out the leaves, I noticed that, oh my gosh, look, the hellebore is beginning to bud up in anticipation of the blooms coming next year. So I think the bunnies are still coming out of their hole, guys. Now, it's been getting cold, and usually once they go into their hole, they don't come out until the spring. But it has to be them because I really don't have any other issues with anything that's gnawing on my stuff. Squirrels are not going to eat those, and neither are chipmunks, and those are the three. Chipmunks, squirrels, and rabbits are the three. And you can tell it was bitten off, not cut off, right? So that's one set of Dutch iris that I've noticed got damaged from some sort of animal gnawing on it. Here's another set that is getting gnawed on, guys. So it's definitely the rabbits. I'm just so surprised because even though we have some decent temperatures, we're in the 50s, I have not seen one in a while. But yeah, that's what's happening right now with the Dutch irises. Let me know what type of animals that you have that are doing damage to your garden, even though I'm not going to complain because the plant will be fine. It's just that I'm just documenting so you can see exactly what's happening in the garden. All right, guys. So I have come to the realization that my night light Cypress is probably not going to make it. I was holding out hope. You guys know every time I did a video, I mentioned it to show you what I had moved it, and it didn't take too well to the move, and it is just not showing any sign of anything. Now I'm not gonna give up yet. I'm gonna wait. If nothing happens by March, it's coming out, right? But it's winter time. I'm not gonna stress about it. I'm gonna leave it alone. It is right next to a false mop cypress, which is absolutely doing amazing. I've never moved that guy, which is why he looks like that. Not a sign of brown on the false mop cypress, but the night light cypress that I moved. I think I moved it 2 months ago, and 2 months ago takes us to, I mean, let's just say late September, and it's just not taking too well to it, guys. So let me know how you do with conifers or arborvitaes, and if you have an issue with them. Now, because we're in the South, they're not known, certain arborvitaes are not known to do great here. Junipers do well here in this heat. But these guys here, they have to stay moist. They do not take well to moving, and their recovery is slower. This looks like it's not going to be no recovery, guys. I am just so sad because I love it. This guy here, when it was in its glory, it's called Nightlight Cypress because it's bright. It's a really nice, the new foliage is really nice yellow, even brighter, I believe, than the false mop cypress, but not looking great, guys. So I just moved this guy here. This is a kaleidoscope abelia. For reference, it was all the way over there by that blue juniper, right? And I feel like it was probably staying a little bit too wet. So this here will give it a little bit more drainage, and I'm going to back up so you can see where it's at. It's right behind the cherry red knockout rose and right next to a butterfly bush. I think that's a Pugster Pinker butterfly bush right here. And this guy here I love because I love abelias, period, because abelias bring in the butterflies. I don't think I hear people talking as much as they really should, because abelias, in my yard, I should say, abelias bring in the butterfly, especially the swallowtail, guys. They are swarming my yard. I am just so happy, and I really hope you got a chance to see them in my prior videos in the last couple of months. The kaleidoscope abelia is beautiful because it has this color. Right at one point, this is what the foliage is going to look like, guys. Really, really nice, like a kaleidoscope, and it stays evergreen for me here in Zone 8A, Georgia. It is wonderful, and I can't wait for you to see it in its glory again next year. All right, so this is an Ascot Rainbow Euphorbia. This guy here is a plant I got from Lowe's on clearance. It was looking rough, guys, rough, rough, rough. Now, this is not my first go with Ascot Rainbow Euphorbia. I had this a couple of years ago, and then one day it just died. And I think it's probably because it wasn't happy where it was, but it just randomly died, right? Got this guy when I was, getting clearance plants in January of this year, and I put it in a container. You have it in a brown container, and it just seems to love it in the container. We had a freeze. Our first frost came the second week in November, and this plant did not flinch. What a beauty, guys. Now, I know that it has this really nice yellow and green foliage, but in the winter, it gives off this really nice burgundy red foliage. I feel like it looks even better in the fall and winter than it does in the summer. Let me know if you have this beauty. Now, I don't know. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to put it in the ground. I'm going to leave it there and make a container out of it again next year. But let me know if you have this guy and how it does in your yard. I was working on the side yard again today, guys, just adding a few more plants. As you know, yesterday I mentioned the fact that I'm going to make this into an evergreen, / rose garden. And I just put in a few more roses. Now, these roses here I got from Walmart. Like, these guys here are all roses, right? All roses. And then some of these are actually knockout roses, right? I'm really a big fan of roses, even though roses give a lot of trouble. A lot of people don't want to deal with a lot of roses. I feel like they're so beautiful, it actually is worth it. So I'm going to plant one more before I go back inside, guys, right here. And as you can see, the retaining wall is right here, so you can get a reference as to where it's going to be. But let me know if you like roses, how they do in your yard, or if you think that they are a lot of work in the garden. Okay, so the containers that I have in the black urns in the front of my garage are still looking good, right? So this one is the main one that stays like this all the time. This is a juniper, which is evergreen. And then I had some pansies in here, but I took it out, and I just want this sedum to completely take over the top of the plant, right? This is my solar lights right here, and this is the urn that I had gotten from Lowe's last year for 30 something dollars. It's a really nice big size. I absolutely love it. And then right next to that, I have some guys here. I have some Kalanchoe. Surprisingly, are still doing great. My marigolds are pretty much done, as is my purple fountain grass. May or may not do well in the container, but I do have two Kalanchoes, a red and a yellow, in this guy here. So these probably will not make it through the winter, but this is a steady hand right here. And I definitely will, work on improving that for the next year. So I have 1, 2 on one side, and then I also have it here on the other side. So let me know how your containers are doing. What do you have in your winter containers, or do you have evergreen containers? That's pretty much it for me, guys. Let me know what you think. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. Remember to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted on my new videos. Thank you and have a great one. Bye-bye.